hope everyone is having a lovely morning. We have some stuff to go over. We have some exciting news on Mando's in at the end, so please hang around for that. Mando, my dear, how are you this morning?
I'm a little flustered, but I am doing okay.
We're here.
My computer was trying to have a midlife crisis, and I told it that I would buy it something nice, and it started working. So I was like, "I'll do anything, just work."
That is hilarious. That is so funny. Well, I'm glad you're here. That is deeply frustrating. I still can't get my capture card for Twitch to work, so I'm just like, oh, this is deeply frustrating. I'm so irritated. So we'll get it figured out. It'll happen when it's supposed to. So I understand technology being stupid, but let's say good morning to the chat really quickly. You guys are already on fire. We've got Jake and Ironside in the chat this morning. We have Vardariana, I believe.
Yes.
You might be saying that somewhat correctly. Girl, you need to put a voice note.
I'm just gonna for sure just say Var. I'm gonna be like, Var, what's up?
There you go. We have Roman in the Empire. Good morning, Roman. I hope you're enjoying your second breakfast. We have Cajun gonna be lurking, no worries. We have the Thad that shouldn't be. Good morning. We of course have our lovely Rosie. Good morning, my dear. How are you?
I am excited for your poetry.
Oh, nice. Benjamin Joyner is here. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. I think that is everyone at the moment. So, we have Bob in the chat.
What's up, Bob?
Thank you for joining my Discord. I saw that. I am the worst host when it comes to Discord, like on this planet. So I apologize to everyone who's in my Discord for not responding to you. I know I need to be more intentional about that. So my Discord will get better. I promise. It's just like, it's horrible right now.
If you need just an answer right then and there, I am also in the Discord, so you can just tag me, Untamed Mando, be like, Mando, hey, help, and I'll be like, I don't have life alert, but sure.
There you go. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm good. I think there is a black widow living in my skylight. And it killed a fly this morning, like right above my head, and it really freaked me out. So I'm like I'm officially a little freaked out. Yeah.
I'm freaked out now. I'm just like looking for spiders now. Like, I don't do spiders. I'm sorry. Sorry, sidetrack, but relating to spiders. So like for my work, I'm really good at cleaning shoes. And there was a big work boot.
Yeah.
And I kind of like emptied it. I shook it out before I put my hand in there. And there was like a spider and a cockroach in there, and I was just like,
ah! Nope. That's disgusting. So in any case, I'm good this morning. Have some exciting stuff going on this upcoming week that I'm excited to share with you all. So lots of fun, exciting things going on. So I'm good other than that. So we have some Rings of Power stuff to go over. Now, I'm going to make one thing clear. Like, I'm checked out. Like, I don't know. Good morning, Rogue Disney.
What's up, Rogue?
The video wasn't playing. Oh, no worries, dear. No worries. I do that all the time.
Sometimes YouTube does that. I've noticed sometimes like on Friday Night Tights or some other people's video, like if I'm in the chat before the video starts and the video starts, I sometimes have to like refresh the page or like go out and go back in because it's weird.
Yeah.
YouTube's weird.
YouTube is weird. So like we're just gonna have fun with like reacting to this new trailer that dropped. I don't know if y'all saw Nerdrotic did a video. It wasn't the one he released yesterday. It was the one before that. And I think it was either at the beginning of the week or sometime last week. And again, I trust Gary's inside sources and all this stuff that the people who reach out to him, he has said that Celeborn is dead. And like the little itty bitty part of me that was still caring about this show vanished in an instant. I was just like, nope, I'm done. I'm out. I don't give a crap about this trash that is going to come out. This is nothing to do with Tolkien. So whatever. So we are going to look at the trailer, but I like, if anyone is wondering, I am checked out. Like, I just do not care about this anymore.
And that's okay to be checked out because, that's kind of the last remaining, like, there now no argument can be made that this is going to be a reflection of Tolkien's work. or related to Tolkien's work in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because that is one of the biggest canon breaking things that anything can do. So yeah, this is just a like I am going to review it, but I'm going to mock it and like show the difference of, you already know it's bad. Here's more ways that you didn't realize it was really bad.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, gonna detox by reading some good stuff.
There you go. That's a good idea. Like, and Gary said in his video that like they might bring him back from, why can't I ever remember the houses where they're dead. The teaser is painful. The memes have been great though. They have been, they've been excellent. So what was I trying? Oh yeah, Gary said that they might bring him back, which would mean they're just recycling Glorfindel's story, which, why is that? That was not surprising. They've already recycled, the elf-human relationship in Bronwyn and Irandir. So in any case, I don't care. Celeborn being dead was like the last straw for me. I thought it would be whatever they're doing with Elrond. I don't know why I've been more annoyed about the men than I have about Galadriel, but I kind of have been. But Celeborn being dead, I was like, nope, that's it. I am so out. So,
well, also, like, it just, the blatant lying that this company is doing. Like, yes, I still have Amazon Prime. Yes, I still have a lot of stuff. But that's also because, like, I have a lot of Kindle and audiobooks. And, like, you can't move them. And so that's the only reason why I'm keeping it around.
Yeah.
But, like, it's despicable. Like, speaking of the Minion movies that just came out, it's despicable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Elra, I don't have my coffee with me. I'm sorry, people. I can't drink it.
Do you need to go get your coffee? I know it was brewing.
I'll be back.
Okay, you go get your coffee. I understand. So, anyways, yeah, if you guys go watch Gary's video, it really did like. I don't know. I just like the level to which he was talking about just how bad they're breaking canon. And he had some like person of ethnic origin up on his screen. He's like, this is who might be playing Celeborn when and if they ever bring him back. And there's still no mention of Celebrian. So it's like, how do we get Arwen if Celeborn isn't anywhere to be found and Celebrian hasn't been born yet? So yeah, I legitimately don't care. And, I told Mando backstage, I am chewing on the idea of potentially doing either like I don't know how watch parties work. I'm still new to all this. Like either doing like a watch party of Lord of the Rings that night, or just doing a live stream of appreciation for Jackson's trilogy. Like we've already done one, but Max and Johnny were correct. We sat there for 3 hours. We could have sat there for 3 more hours and talked about why we love Jackson's trilogy. Right. And I think having something that night to like help people detox or whatever. I know Gary and Az will probably be live. I know Gary will probably do a massive stream, and that's fine. Like if we get 2 viewers, I don't care. Just I think it's important to like spend time on things we love, and so that might be something I toy with. We'll see.
Yeah. If you want, like, I can do like a watch party in your Discord just to show you kind of like how it's done, and we can watch maybe like a random episode of some random thing.
Yeah. I don't get why Amazon does this. They did it with the Terminal List Reacher. They did it good on the Terminal List Reacher and Bosch. Yeah, I have no idea. Celeborn being dead is more info that adds to my hypothesis that Amazon's real goal is to get the rights and make their own version of the movies. I think that's, yes. I think that's incredibly correct. So
they're following in Disney's footsteps. Basically, it's get an IP, change the IP, and make it into their image.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like just how like Kathleen Kennedy decanonized the entirety of the EU, which and that now we're already seeing hints thrown around that the first 6 episodes are going to be remade. So I'm like, how is Gary called this how long ago? Why is anyone surprised that that will happen? There's no potentiality in it. That will happen.
Right.
They will remake the first 6 episodes to fit the canon that they've established in the last 3.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like I forget who pointed it out. I think it may have been on a gaming stream that I was watching or something, but Disney, and I am assuming Amazon is the same way. Disney is good at making its own original stories and characters. It's when they try and copy and make someone else's IP and characters that it goes wrong. And Amazon's the same way. There is a ton of original content on Amazon that they created themselves that is fantastic. Like that was the biggest reason I wanted to get Prime Video is, yes, spoiler, I'm one of the biggest nerds out there, but there is a D&D show called Critical Role that like their campaigns has been animated now, and it's on Prime Video, and I'm watching through that, and it's really good, and it's really amazing, because all of the original people are also voice actors, so they get to voice their own characters and stuff.
Yeah.
But like they're good at making original stuff. It's just when they try and take something and make it the way they want it to be, that's when things start getting really bad.
Yeah. The Star Wars EU, aka Real Stars, is the real canon of the universe, and nothing will convince me otherwise. The Disney stands can call me delusional if they want. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I grew up on that EU stuff.
That is my goal in life, to get all of the EU books now.
Yeah. I've got I think I have maybe a third left. I have up to a certain point. Yeah, I got to get the rest of them.
I have one now. I had some in Kindle version years ago, and then I went through this phase where I'm like, I'm an adult. I'm not allowed to like these kid stuffs, and I gave away and deleted everything.
Good Lord. Well, Disney was good at making their own content. Yeah, they were at one point. Do you ever wonder that Tolkien would have thought of Disney making the Chronicles of Narnia? I think he would have been sick to his stomach.
I think C.S. Lewis himself would have had some very choice words. Yeah. And very colorful.
Yeah. Again, the first one was okay, but the other ones just were not. The first one I could let some stuff slide, but the next two were just like, nope.
The CGI was so bad. And that the same people who are working on those Chronicle and Narnia stories are what's working on Prime, Amazon Rings of Prime.
Oh boy.
That's why it looks like it's from Narnia.
Yeah. So anyways, okay, so can we play the sound? Or are we just gonna watch it? Because I'm confused.
We can do it in clips, of this is under 3 minutes. Yeah, let's just do a couple seconds.
Okay.
I think those of you who are more familiar with YouTube than I am, because I am more of a Twitch person, let me know. I'll do like a few seconds, and then
we'll do it frame by frame.
Right. Ooh, we're seeing things.
There's our second age Bilbo.
But I just is he looking at star? Is that a star map?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. And again, this is what am I trying to say? Tolkien and Christopher were very intentional, and the maps that they drew, and the door on the west gate of Moria, they were very intentional on how things looked. Again, this does not look Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, what is this writing? This nowhere. Okay, carefully, Salty took a beating with copyright BS doing his Rings of Power show. Oh, did he? Okay. Well,
that's why I know for certain. I think the limit is 10 seconds, and then you must comment on it, and then 10 seconds. And this is only 30, 45 seconds or something. Let's see. Has anyone ever read the Space Trilogy by C.S. Lewis? Not yet. Not yet. I want to, though.
I agree. If it's you're going to do something, it should be recognized as Tolkien immediately, and that's the thing. It's just not movie colors. Well, it's the second age Bilbo, Dawn. Yeah, so they're just recycling. They're just recycling stuff and making up characters as they go.
Yeah, it's the person of color Bilbo.
Yes, for the second age.
All right, so 10 more seconds.
So apparently now these Harfoots watch the skies.
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. Just the way that like they're framing. Salty was not talking about the clip he was using and talking about the Brazilian full trailer. Oh, okay.
Okay.
The way that they're framing this, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the majority of this story will be told through the eyes of Galadriel, which is not shocking, and these Harfoots. Mm-hmm. I think that they will be the framework, because that's what, if you take the generic parts of Jackson's trilogy, that's essentially kind of how they're told, is you get the hobbits are the main framework, and then you have the other characters. But I think Galadriel and the Harfoots are going to be essentially what drives the entire story forward.
Right. And for those of you who got the reference to Chicken Little, yes, that is exactly what I was doing. The sky is falling. Hi, Tugs!
Is she here?
Yeah. She's...
Oh, no, wait. Why is her...
Yeah,
oh.
the chat just jumped. I'm like looking at it, I was like, oh.
Good morning, my dear. That African hobbit has sideburns that look like lamb chops. Yep, seriously, not even attached to his face. Yep, I think he's one of those furries. Yep. Well put.
I can already see the memes. I can see the memes.
We're gonna get hobbit
degeneracy, aren't we? Yep.
Yeah, yes. I did a video where I explained the fireball meter men can be sour to Gandalf if you follow canon. Yep, they just can't be.
Right.
Don't get hypnotized by the lights or you'll fall into the dead marshes and make little lights of your own. Uh-huh. Yes.
All right, let's do some more. Granted, you guys might be saying, well, Mando, you're not doing 10 seconds. I'm like, no, I'm doing it where we can stop and actually make a comment on things. So
do Harfoot matters live?
Harfeet lives matter.
Oh
but in truth and actuality, Hobbit lives matter more.
Hobbit lives matter more.
But anyway.
There's Gil-galad. Okay, hold on. I want to talk about this scene. Okay. So I have a theory, and I could be so dead wrong, and that, if you think this is wrong, no worries. I have a feeling, because we have been told that this first episode is supposed to be a history of Middle Earth, which how on God's green earth they could do that without the Silmarillion, I don't know. But what I'm wondering, and the Fellowship of the Fans, who are, remember, they're in bed with Amazon, they did a bit live stream. I've never watched one of their live streams. I have absolutely no desire to be there. My blood pressure does not need to get through the roof like that.
Correct. I agree. Same.
Yeah. So I've never watched one of the Fellowship. I've never watched one of their videos, and I have no intention to because they're sellouts. What I wonder is if this is a shot of the first time the sun has risen, because that look of awe on their face. And okay, so, and the reason I wonder this is because they're all in white. And so white is a sign of purity. It's like a sign of innocence. And when they're leaving Valinor to go to Middle Earth, there's an innocence about them. They don't understand, life in Middle Earth is hard, that it has its hiccups and it's full of darkness. They've only been in, Galadriel was born in Valinor. She doesn't really understand what it means to have hardship in Middle Earth. And because they don't have rights to the Silmarillion, they can't do the crossing of the ice because, as far as I know, it's not mentioned in the appendices. Now, I could be dead wrong, and I'm just not recalling that. But I have to wonder, because this look of awe, and if you, I don't know where it was. I think if you go a few more seconds. Okay, the way that the darkness is, fleeing, and the way the sun is hitting them, I'm just it's too pretty.
Right.
I could be totally wrong, but I just have to wonder if this is the first time the sun is rising. And they've cut out the crossing of the ice, the kinslaying, the burning of the ships, all of that, because they don't have rights to it.
Right. Well, I thought in the appendices it talked about the kinslaying. Or it at least talked about Fëanor, right?
I honest to God don't know. I don't remember. And that's a feeling on my part. I didn't look that up because, again, I just don't care anymore. But it could be them sailing to Amen. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay, fundamentally, whatever they don't have the rights to, the name of the hobbits, they're going to make stuff up. Exactly.
Right.
I think you're overthinking it. They probably said pretty shit, pretty birds. That's fair. That's fair. I could be way overthinking this.
I mean, but that's what we do. That's what we do as fans. We look at it, we look at something and we're like, oh, it could be this thing. Like, that's what fandoms do. That is what gives fandom its lifeblood, is fans discussing this. So, like, that's what Amazon and Disney want. They want that energy of fans doing what fans do best. Unfortunately, they keep spitting in our faces and saying, still keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, but we don't care.
Yeah. The appendix have a link. Yeah, no, I know. I'm not knowing, like, I can't remember. The elves are supposed to be glowing, right? Aren't they ethereal flesh or something? Yes. That is, I'm not deep in enough in the lore to have a discussion about that. I just find it odd the way that the way this shot is set up. And the sun is just, and the look of awe. Like, what are they looking at? Because
it very much could be the sun rising for the first time, especially like if it's after the trees died, and that, like, if they are at least keeping to that much of the lore where the trees have died and now the sun and the moon are a thing. I feel like it could have been a lot cooler, like with them struggling, like
across the ice.
Like, it's a struggle story. What happened to the struggle stories? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we don't really get struggle stories. Like, yes, oh my god, I can't find the thing to help me solve the whole world. That's not a struggle.
Yeah. I mean, Galadriel still looks kind of bland, but at least she looks kind of, yeah, I mean, she looks better here than she has in the past. Considering how much there is of lore breaking so far, the scene can be whatever. Yeah, that's true. Glowing elves are those that went to Valinor and saw the light of the two trees. They only glow when they exert or draw upon the power. Okay, that's right. That's right. I forgot. They're watching the meteor of shills arriving to praise the Amazon. Well done. They could have made her look more queenly. I absolutely agree.
Well, at this point in time, she's already thousands of years old as far as what we kind of know, because the year of the trees, like, there's like Tolkien did a rough estimate of how long the year of the trees lasted, and by like even conservative estimates, Galadriel would have been at least 1,000, if not a couple thousand years old right now.
Yeah,
that doesn't look like a couple thousand years old.
No, just stopping in to say hello with family all day. All right, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate that. So yeah, all right, if you want to advance this, so that's just my theory that this is the first time the rising of the sun happens, which again, so beyond lore breaking, it's just like, I just don't care.
Right, and I understand. I support you. All right, so let's watch more of the sky falling, little chicken littles.
And there's Durin, who actually looks like a dwarf. I will give them that. He actually looks like a dwarf.
I like the runes on his little collar. I forget what they're called on armor, because he's like wearing an armor.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what they're called either.
Are they supposed to be androgynous?
Oh my
god. Androgynous. Okay, they didn't. Looking in the books, they didn't read it that way. No.
Morpha Clark is actually quite attractive, but they have been making her dingy. And yeah, no, they have. They're going out of their way to, because beauty is no longer accepted in Hollywood. You cannot be beautiful. You can't be Arwen anymore. So yeah, that's just, it's not even like up for debate. That's, of course, that's what they're doing.
At least they did do somewhat of a good job on the dwarfs. I don't want to see this. Go away.
There's generic elves. More generic elves.
What are they doing? Like, when is this? Like, is this before he does his thing, or
who? Sauron?
The with the arrow shooting and the fighting of the orcs.
Who knows? You know, the thing is, it's just like racking up what we know of the plot thus far. This isn't Tolkien. Like, it's not, we're not doing Tolkien anymore. Like, they have completely fabricated and a completely false narrative for this story. And and I think whoever said it is right, that they're on their way to buy the rest of the rights so they can make the entire remake the entire trilogy. This isn't Tolkien, and that's like just why, like, at this point I just don't care, because, and I mean, like, you know, still gonna defend Tolkien, but I just like, I'm not gonna watch this because I want this to fail, and I want this to fail hard.
Right. Agreed. Let's keep watching the Skyfall.
Generic tower, generic landscape. Oh my god, that 3D print plastic crown with the fake diamonds.
That just looks.
It looks like plastic. It looks like plastic. I'm not trying to be a nitpicky biatch. No, that looks like, it legitimately looks like plastic.
Agreed. Her eyes are like.
Where?
Like, if you look at her eyes.
She does have crazy eyes. She absolutely has crazy eyes. If Meteor Man is Sauron on the show, they are compressing the timelines by having Sauron fall to Middle Earth and set things off. Yeah. She has crazy eyes. She legitimately has crazy eyes. But yeah, she's full on wearing plastic. That is plastic.
I think they understood that we were complaining about the armor looking. Well, no, these are men. Never mind. I was thinking that this looked kind of similar to the Rohirrim armor, but these are like, it's supposed to be Numenor, so they're supposed to look more like Gondor, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the helmet looks okay, because remember, like, a lot of them have the feathers, but that shield is very reminiscent of Rohan.
And I mean, Numenor, like, Rohan and Gondor, like, or Rohan and Numenor are kind of similar, so that makes sense. I'll give them credit there.
Yeah.
Diversity hire princess, right?
Yes. Who is not even supposed to be in charge of Numenor. It's her husband, Ar-Pharazôn, who she was forced to marry. But in this show, he's just a counselor. He's not actually in charge. We've got Ents now. There are the Ents. And there is Rings of Power Frodo, who's now a girl.
Right. Silver and white, not gold. Right, yeah, they got the colors wrong.
They did, yeah.
One thing that I did read somewhere is that the Ents are going to play a bigger role, which I don't remember them playing a very big role.
There was a sentence in the Silmarillion, and that's it.
Right, like, it was just, oh, we're here. We're still here.
Yeah. It really is Game of Thrones vibes. That's what Bezos wanted. Even the flipping red comet is ripped from Game of Thrones. It's painfully unlike Tolkien. Yep. It really is.
Well, I mean, it's... So, and we've said this before, they're copying someone who copied Tolkien, kind of.
Yes. Yeah. They are. It's a copy of a copy of a copy.
Not even a good copy, either. Right. At least Tolkien was able to finish something. Sorry.
That's why I also will not read those books. I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is prettier looking. I would not fight you on that. It's a film product by Assembly Line. Yep.
Correct. So, they were like, oh, we like pretty trees, pretty explosions. There.
And generic looking crowns. Dear God in heaven, I hate this chair. So I'm sorry. I will fix that one day. So yeah, I don't know. Just like, this isn't Tolkien. Like, it's not Tolkien. There's no way you can spin this. And I'm up to here with the wait see crowd. Like, I'm just like, no, I'm not waiting and seeing about anything. Like, I refuse. So I don't really know.
And like, I have friends who are like that. They're like, well, you just always have to make sure you watch it before you judge it. And I'm like, have you heard any of the news that's coming out about this program? Because like, they consider themselves Lord of the Rings fans. Like, they have a mural on their wall of Middle Earth. So like, they're like fans who buy things, but I think they're more like they're more on the
consumer fans. They're like,
they're more on that side of it. Like, they'll consume, they love Lord of the Rings, they love all of that. And they're like, and so one of them's like he and I have had discussions, like, he seems very knowledgeable. I don't understand how you can make the logical leap of, looking at what's coming out
Mhm.
versus what should be coming out kind of thing.
Yeah. Good morning, Shieldwell. Thank you so much for being here. So is there a few more seconds of this trailer? I thought it was done.
It seems like it. Hold on.
It's just okay. So it's the actual trailer is coming out on the 14th of July. And I know that the Brazilian one has already like come out. It's already there. So, you know, again, whatever. Yeah, I just don't care anymore. I mean, and you know, it's not that I'm not gonna like stand and stem the tide and like, you know, do what I can to protect Tolkien's legacy, but I'm not going to give Amazon this. And I know you want to review it, Mando, and I love that, and I will watch your reviews. But I just don't want to, like, even if I sail the high seas, I just don't want to give Amazon any more numbers than the normie crowd is going to give them. And that's why, like, you know, I want to try and turn my channel a little more into talking about things we love. Like, yeah, complaining is, you know, I call it the complaining, but it's important, and I agree with that. But I just, Celeborn being dead, no mention of Celebrian, what they're doing, it's just, this isn't Tolkien. And I don't know how many more times, how many more iterations I can say that.
Agreed. Like, and yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's not. So everyone has different gifts. Everyone has different quote unquote callings. That's like reviewing the show is not like what you feel that your gifts are gonna like what you want to use your gifts for, and that's understandable. Like you do you. Boo-boo.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And the thing is, like it's important for us to have, you know, those differing voices within this corner of the internet so that people do get a reprieve. So that's why, like, you know, and I know I've been bad about my channel, and I fully own that. I have, like, life has just been a little insane, but I also have not been as intentional as I could have been. But like, now is the time for me to get, you know, off my rear end and start doing stuff. So, so yeah, no, I mean,
both.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're more than welcome to send me anything. Like, any one of you, like, if I can put my link to my Discord later, in the chat if we want. But like, if any of you have anything that you want me to review, that you want me to talk about, that like, or anything that like any ideas that you have, like your artwork, like please send that to me. Like I love doing stuff like that. I'm so tired of looking at stuff and just being like, I hate it all. Like there's like my friend, like if you're in my Discord, one of my friends, Randy Jane, she's a magnificent artist. Like she's doing a mural that's almost 5 feet tall, and like it's gorgeous. And I want to talk about stuff like that. Like I want to support my friends who are artists, who are writers, who like I want to talk about more things than how stupid Amazon is, and how much I imagine every single day they're going to crash and burn, which like I don't like to wish bad on people. That's not like my thing. I like to wish good on people. That's my thing. Like I like to encourage people. I like to help promote people. Like that's the thing that I like to do.
Yeah,
sorry,
no, for sure.
My little mini soapbox there. I'm sorry.
You're good. I think since they don't have first age rights, they are cheating. They are changing the backstories such that the Valar and the Undying Lands are gods and not on Earth. The meteor man thus has to fall. Okay, that would make sense. No, I'm not. I'm not going to watch it. I'm just not going to do it. Thank you. And thank you so much. I was super nervous about putting that out there because I feel like it was a little harsh, but that is the kind of stuff I want to start having on my channel. It's like, and this coming Monday, I should have said this. This coming Monday is the first time that Max and I are switching streaming times. So he will be on Sunday and I will be on Monday. It will be at 6 p.m. Central. We have to back it up for an hour for reasons. And it's going to be my very first all-girl stream. And we're going to have some of these deeper conversations about femininity and all this stuff. So yeah, if you enjoyed that video about where I talked about sexual modesty versus sexual liberation, definitely tune on Monday night because that's the kind of conversations we're going to be having. No, I'm not watching it. So it was genuine and from your heart. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you, Shieldwall. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. So in any case, yeah, I mean this crap is what it is. I have no qualms about just tuning it out and pretending it doesn't exist. And no worries if you can't, Dawn. This one time, it's just going to be this one time that it's at 6 p.m. Central. After that, I think I'm going to be moving it to, I can't even remember now. I think it's 7 p.m. Central. I've got to talk to Max. I want to make sure I'm streaming at the right time because I just want to take his time slot because that's when people are used to him being on. So it's going to be a little later in the evening. It'll be this one Monday that I got to back it up. So if you got to watch the replay, please, no worries. I know that this is going to be a little clunky and a little weird for us to switch like this because my people are used to me being on Sunday, but we'll get there. So no worries if you can't make it. I know it's at a weird time for a lot of people, and it's just going to be this one time.
And that's okay. Like sometimes you gotta do that.
Push back for a reason. Alicia's secretly watching Rings of Power confirmed. I found out. I have a secret.
Oh no. But yeah, like I mean, you've made the announcement before that like you guys were switching time slots anyway. So if people have been living under a rock this long, they're gonna continue to live under that same rock. Like whether or not whatever you do, like it's gonna be that.
No worries, Rob. Thank you so much for being here. We deeply, deeply appreciate it. Hello, Roto. Thank you for being here. A little thing called work getting in the way. Yeah, Dawn, for sure. So no worries, lady. I will, obviously we keep the replay. Seeking working for Amazon. You guys have found me out.
Oh no.
So anyways, all right, so let's move on to why we're actually here. We are again finishing up the last two chapters of the Unfinished Tales. So we have the Astari and the Palantiri. What did you think of these two chapters?
I like how Christopher was like, we already have a lot of information on the Astari. This is an essay. Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I can see that. Like, so it's like, a college student writing an essay for her class. Like, yeah. Okay. Because that's what this felt like. Because Christopher's like making constant notes, and I'm just like, I'm in college again. Okay.
Yeah, it did very much read like an essay. The
Palantiri, it was one of those things like, I understand Christopher was only using what he had and that Tolkien didn't really go into much detail about them, but I don't know why, like, they just intrigued me so much. Like, I really wanted to know more backstory, like how were they actually created? When, like, because I remember we first really kind of see them in Numenor, and I believe they were created in Numenor, but like, I just wanted to know more about them. Like, how did Sauron really use them? Like, why is it that Denethor could like resist Sauron for so long, other than he's just a very stubborn individual? That's really what I kind of got from all that, was Denethor was very stubborn.
He was incredibly, incredibly stubborn. He has strong will. I'll give him that, but very stubborn. What I thought was interesting, and this is, I mean, jumping back to the other one, but what I thought was interesting about the Istari, I thought it was fascinating that like Saruman, who has hated Gandalf
since the beginning,
since the moment they landed, because when he understood and found out that Círdan gave him the red ring, that he was like, he's been salty for a very long time about that issue. He's like, I should have gotten that. So yeah, he's been pissed for a while at Gandalf.
Well, here's the thing, like, as well, like, when talking about the Astari, like, the Valar were like, we're gonna make them fallible, which is fine, but it also, the thing that really won Gandalf, or won people over to Gandalf more than Saruman, and this is true in real life, is Gandalf's humility and his love of people. He, like, Saruman was really enamored with objects and craftsmanship and the lore behind a powerful object. Gandalf was like, yeah, I know about that really powerful object, but I want to know about the person who created it and the people it's affected. I want to know more about the people. And that's like true in real life. You can meet you can meet two business people who are of the same level. Like, it's like two CEOs of a company, and one of them can, like, you can greet and you can have a friendly interaction, but they're a little prideful and a little stuck up, and they're looking down on you. Versus a really awesome CEO who's like, what's your name? Like, how can I help you? This is really amazing to meet you. Like, you can tell when you first meet someone And I think that's really what it was, is Gandalf really cared about the person. Saruman's like, I'm here, I'm supposed to do something, get out of my way, peasants.
Yeah. I think Saruman is a really interesting and nuanced character. Gandalf was better. No, he was. And it was interesting, like, reading about that, that, like, Saruman's betrayal put in this light of the Astari and, like, how pissed he was that Gandalf got the Red Ring makes that betrayal in Fellowship, like, so much more poignant. Like, that he's had, like, there's been some beef between them for a very long time. So that was, like, I thought interesting. I mean, Saruman is a nuanced character, most definitely, but he got to Middle Earth being a tad bit messed up, I guess, is the best way to say it.
Prideful. He was a little bit full of himself.
Yeah,
I think that's unfortunately, and, like, I think one of the saddest things, and this is just because, like, I think too much about stuff like this, because I wanted to I wanted to go into the counseling field for a while there, so I think about these things. Like, Saruman, if he had just let go of his pride and, like, worked together with Gandalf, like, he, like, just imagine the possibilities that he could have accomplished. Like, because he really was, in the beginning, looking, like, trying to do what he was supposed to do, and working towards learning the history of Middle Earth, learning the lore, learning how things worked. And he was a really good character. He just had one flaw. Unfortunately, it's I think one of the most dangerous flaws. And I guess on some level I kind of identify a little bit with Saruman, because, like, that's one of the unfortunate things, like, I found in my life, is pride has followed me wherever I go, and I cannot allow my head to get too big, otherwise I will fall just like Saruman. Like, if you don't have those checks and balances, like Saruman, if he had just had a few people, if he had been honest about his disdain for Gandalf, they could have worked it out, and I think that could have gone a completely different direction. These are the things that keep me up at night at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, but it just also shows you how wise Círdan was. For all that he never went to Valinor, Círdan had a lot of insight, and I wish we knew more about him. I mean, you know, like, Círdan had some really, he was insightful about who should have gotten that ring, and he saw immediately that Gandalf was going to go through some trials. Didn't Osgiliath have a really big one, like the Master Orb or something? I read about them for like over 30. Yes, they did, and that they lost. That was the one that was lost, I think, in the Anduin or something. So that one's lost. We don't have that one anymore. Gandalf did the groundwork himself. At the times that Sauron got his robes dirty, so to speak, he did hide himself with his power. And yeah, exactly. And Gandalf wasn't afraid of going here, there, and everywhere. Sauron, the jealous girlfriend wizard. The Master Stone of the Seven Erendil gave Save from Numenor was set in the tower that gave Osgiliath its name. When Osgiliath was burned, it was lost in the Anduin. Correct.
Yes. Also, like, if you read, I forget, I think it's in one of the appendices. It might be, I think it's in the appendices, but I could be wrong. But I remember reading, "What's up, Abunas?"
Yeah, hold on. Can you hold on to that thought for 1 second, please? I just wanted, because he's got to leave, popping in to show some love to my beloved editor and our amazing guest. Hope you ladies are doing so good. I am right now hard at work writing my novel that Alicia will hopefully be giving me a good grade on. Yes, Abunas, most definitely. Thank you so much. Let me give you a little thank you for that.
If you want him, come and claim him.
Actual strong women. So thank you, my dear. I wanted to get him a little thank you before he has to leave. So thank you so much, Abunas, and I look forward to talking to you this coming week. Please don't be nervous. Everything will be fine. So sorry, dear. What were you saying?
Oh, no worries. I remember reading somewhere that particular Palantiri, like, if you tried to look for it, you could still see the flames, like, where it's at. Like, that's so cool that you can, like, really cool. If you also, whenever Denethor, like, you know, died with the Palantiri, like, you can see him holding it still even after like all that. I thought that was kind of cool.
That was
cool
cool
lore. It's not in this story, but, like, I remember reading that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we found the Palantiri chapter a tad bit more interesting than the Astari one. I mean, it was cool. It was interesting to, and it's funny. It's like you can even see kind of like Christopher's irritation that the blue wizards were not.
There's
there's nothing.
We know nothing. Like, that's also why, like, I think for in particular, the Astari chapter was kind of a repeat that most anyone who like even sinks a little bit into Lord of the Rings lore kind of knows a lot about the Astari.
Yeah.
But like, I'm fine talking about them for a couple minutes. Like, yeah, the Blue Wizard's travels, and like like there are so many cool fan theories out there. Like there is, I think I remember reading one time there was on the Blue Wizards in particular, there was a fan theory that they technically, in a roundabout way, did succeed in their mission, but they fell before they could see the fruits of it. So like they were against Saruman, but they like in the notes it talks about they created their own cults and their own magical things, and in a roundabout way, kind of like how Saruman like was against but also for Saruman, kind of like how that's what the Blue Wizards probably did, is they were against Saruman, but they got big-headed and they created their own cults and things to challenge Saruman, but not in the way they were supposed to.
Yeah.
That's just one of the theories out there that I'm like, ooh, we could have done a whole thing about that, because nobody talks about it. Like, nobody knows anything. They could have done a whole series about how the Blue Wizards travel and their rise and fall from grace. Like, that could have been so cool.
Yeah, could have been, absolutely. And also that they went to the parts of Middle Earth that Christopher says that only Ulmo knows anything about. Like that Ulmo is the only one who understands like these distant reaches of Middle Earth. I'm just like, oh, that's so cool. And like that Ulmo, like some of the Valar could have been a little more like involved, because Ulmo is the ocean, and obviously him and his Maiar and his wife, I can't remember her name at the moment, to have them a little more involved. That would have been fascinating. So, but you can even like see Christopher's like, my father never said anything else. This is all I got. He's even a little annoyed.
Right. And I understand that. And like all of us as readers and lovers of Tolkien are a little annoyed, but also like the amount of detail that I think this is one of I know this is one of the downfalls of Tolkien, because even C.S. Lewis, like in his writings about his friend Tolkien, is like, Tolkien is so detail oriented. It's his downfall, and it's his best quality. Yep. He was so busy writing about Middle Earth, he forgot about the rest of the south and east parts of the middle. He was like, he fully intended to finish it and write about it, but he wanted to get everything correct with what he already had. He was just like, I'll get to that eventually. And then he kind of like got sucked into his work, and he forgot about Blue Wizards and all of those people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And something that stood out to me in the Astari chapter is on page 405, when they said that Christopher when the wizards got to Middle Earth, kind of their memory of Valinor faded. Like they didn't really retain that, and they had to learn about Middle Earth. They didn't come like omnipotent about Middle Earth. Like they literally, like Manwë was like, go learn. You have to actually learn about these people that you're charged with taking care of. Like, we're not just going to bless you with the knowledge of everything you need. They had to go read books. They had to go talk to people. Like they had to interact and like learn about Middle Earth. I thought that was fascinating. And that's such a professor thing. Like if you're in academia, you have to learn about the thing that you want to study or that you want to become good at. Like you have to understand all the nuances of it. So I loved that. I was like, he is such a professor.
Right. And also the Valar realizing their mistake when they brought the elves to Valinor. Like it's called the big mistake of the Valar. I'm like, they understood they did wrong. Like, so I think that's cool that like a lot of like even the quote unquote god figures in Tolkien's Legendarium realized we had good intentions. We didn't really do well though.
Yeah. To be honest, I've been a newbie to this universe, and I feel like I've gotten more things out of watching you guys talk about it than from a lot of people nowadays. Well, thank you, Phil. We appreciate that. And Tolkien came out with stuff that sounded cool and then worked the story around it. Absolutely. That's the whole reason we have Elvish. He wrote the language and he's like, you know what this needs is a whole mythos. Imagine if you had the chance to spend a day with Tolkien asking him questions. I know his stuff was popular when he was live, but I think he was even more popular today. So many questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, the thing is like he's so smart. Like listening to Christopher talk, like I've had to listen to Christopher's lectures and like his interviews like 5 times before I even like begin to grasp what he's saying. They're both so smart. Like I'd be very intimidated that he would like go off on some rabbit trail. And I was like, that's not what I asked you, but I would still learn a lot. But it would just, he would be hard to sit there and like actually absorb because he talks in such an elevated way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think for me, I've had friends who are similar, like much old. Like I have one of my previous mentors. Well, I haven't talked to him in a while, sadly, but because they're off doing some really cool things. But like sometimes when they really get talking into their kind of wheelhouse, and you just like the only thing you can do is, which is why like I used to for the longest time would just carry a notebook and pencil in my purse all the time, because whenever I would sit and chat with certain people, like the only thing you can do if you were a studious person is just kind of like,
yeah, yep. I have several professors like that. I'm just like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I love that you're talking about it. But I just like, I need time to absorb this.
Also, like one of my friends in college, she would use her phone, record the lecture while she's still taking notes, and then later on that day re-listen to the lecture.
I did that all throughout my undergrad. Now I don't know if that's even legal anymore, but yes, I did that throughout my entire undergrad. I have so many lectures on. I need to, but I want to release. And like the cats of Queen Beruthiel, or the staffs of the 5 words, the 7 stars of the 7 stones of the white tree. Yes, the cats, these cat people. What the hell?
I was so confused when we started talking about cats. I was like, wait, this was just a phrase that Aragorn said, and there's a whole mythos behind this?
Right. I was like, where the hell did this come from?
I was like, because you're just reading, and then how does this fit here?
And that like literally she could talk to them, and she used them as spies, and also she was really cruel to them. And then this King of Gondor was like, yeah, we're done with you, and puts her on a boat without any sails and just like sends her off out to sea. It was like, damn.
And the last thing we hear is there was a cat on the mast and a cat on the bow of the ship. I was like, why are we talking about cats? I thought we were talking about strange orbs that can see things. Now we're talking about cats.
Cats that apparently you can talk to. You know what's funny is like, if anyone ever wants a slightly more, okay, let's all be honest. Lord of the Rings is sometimes hard to absorb. There's a lot going on, and you have to sit there, and it's not something you can like sit and just be like, oh, that was a cool story. Like you have to sit and like pay attention. If you ever want something that's reminiscent of Tolkien, that's not quite as dense and like you have to like, sit there and think about it for hours. Christopher Paolini's Inheritance Cycle about Aragorn and Saphira, the Dragon Riders. It's very reminiscent of Tolkien, and I think and Christopher Paolini is hugely inspired by Tolkien. He like took this Cats of Queen Beruthiel, and he made that a whole like thing in his story. He took that and like expanded upon it. So there are werecats in the Inheritance Cycle, and they're so cool. And they sit at the left side of the king or queen of Alagacia, and they have a very specific role to play in the history of this world. So if you ever want something and if you like want a basic breakdown of what the Inheritance Cycle is, it's OG Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings. Like I'm not even gonna like deny that fact. It is so blatantly an homage to those two things, because Christopher Paolini started writing when he was 15. He was homeschooled. So that he got published at like 18 or something. Yeah, I know. So anyways,
this is the reason I wish I was homeschooled instead of going to public school, because like public school just ruined me.
Yeah. Remember being extremely delusional with university very quick. Yeah, so many of us. Rosie Gamgee, next time you see a person with a bunch of cats, you think they're training those cats to spy on people. She sounds very similar to Freya, whose chariot was pulled by cats, but Freya was nice. Cashier St. Joseph. Hello, I heard cats. Well, hello. Thank you for
The
being
cats. Hello.
Yes, Dragon Riders. Dragon Riders Shield Wall.
I still have not read those books yet.
Oh, they're so good.
I keep getting sidetracked.
There's 4 of them, and then there's a short story, and hopefully we'll be getting book number 5 here at one point. I follow Christopher Paolini on Instagram. He's super cool. He's super chilled. He's super laid back, and I adore the Inheritance Cycle. So if you guys want a good Dragon Rider story, I would suggest.
Can you please message me that, because
Yes.
I will forget
you
to
know
add
what? I
it
will
to
put
my.
it in my Discord in the library section. I will just put the link to his books. Crazy Cat people love to shove their kitty propaganda down the rest of our throats. Yes, they do.
Excuse you, my cat is cute and needs to be shown to the world.
Scientific facts: cats emit mind control. Yes, they do. I'm sorry. You know, I would like cats. If you have an issue with cats, just give them to Drunk 3PO. He will open the door and let them out. That's so harsh.
Oh God! I mean, I'll be honest, most of my friends hate my cat because my cat is a two people's cat. Person. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was homeschooled. It was hard for me to mentally transition after being in public school, but once I got a teacher that wasn't one of my parents, it was actually that's cool. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
And this is why school choice should be a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I just did the Trump thing. Oh God.
Yeah. So in any case, yeah, the cats were weird, but it was an interesting little sidetrack. And again, it just shows like how much Tolkien was thinking, like even down to like the details of how streets were set up. And let me just be clear about this. I'd like cats if they didn't send me into anaphylaxis. And yes, I do mean that. I will die. Like I will literally, I will die.
And I understand that. That's perfectly fine. And I understand. I can just show you pictures of my cute kitty.
Yes, I like pictures, but I can't ever be around them. Yeah, no, Phil, you do have a cute cat. It's just I'm salty that they will, and I don't. Yeah, never mind. So anyways, so yeah, like the Astari, yeah. So I think we've pretty much covered the Astari chapter.
Well, I mean, because like I think we have plenty of time. Like, are there any theories that you have about the Blue Wizards? Have you thought about this?
I haven't. You know what I think? Okay, because I know Radagast. I know the Hobbit did Radagast dirty. I thought it was interesting that Yavanna was like to Saruman, take him. And I want to know why. I would love to know why Yavanna was like, take him.
I have a theory on that.
Okay, go. I want to hear it.
So Saruman represents progress and change and mechanical. Yavanna, of course, was always more concerned about the forest and the trees and the animals. I think she sent Radagast. I think the actual purpose of Radagast. I don't think he actually failed in his mission, because I think Yavanna gave him an actual mission of do everything you can to take care of the trees and the animals and the plants of Middle Earth. I think that was his actual goal. Like that was what he was supposed to be doing from Yavanna. Like, yeah, Manwë probably told him that he needed to do stuff, but he's like, nah, Yavanna already told me something to do. And so like that's why Saruman hated Radagast, because Saruman represented progress. Radagast represented regression and the nature. And so that's why they hated each other. But his goal was to try and thwart Saruman in the fact that he's supposed to take care of the trees and all of that, while Saruman's trying to do the opposite. So
yeah, no, I think that actually, you know what, now that you say that, I think that's spot on. That's well said. Real quickly, Roman is switching to lurking mode. Time to walk with Mrs. the Empire, who's now in the 3rd book of C.S. Lewis's space trilogy. That is awesome.
I want to read it. Can someone just gift me the trilogy? Like, because I've got so many things I have to save up for. I'm just like, I want them.
We'll just send Elijah a Hello Kitty plush. That will do. Yeah, that's unfortunately all I will ever be able to. So a while back, I started reading Warhammer Fantasy books. So much of that world is based off Lord of the Rings. But it's its own thing. It's my favorite fantasy universe. That's awesome. I have not gotten to do Warhammer 40K, and I highly doubt I ever will, just simply because I have no time. One of the fascinating things that from the Astari chapter is that Tolkien went back and forth on the idea of there only being 5 Astari and 5 major Astari. Yes, I thought that was really cool. That was super interesting. And like that, like honestly, kind of made me wonder if I wonder if at one point he thought Tom Bombadil was supposed to be one of the Astari. I was I thought that would make perfect sense. I was like, that makes so much more sense, and that why the One Ring would not have power over him. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So yeah, I definitely, my mind immediately went to Tom Bombadil. He was chewing on that idea that he would be one of the lesser Astari.
Or he could, like, because of course there's hundreds of thousands of theories on Tom Bombadil, but part of me wonders if he was actually the first Astari that would, like, the true like proto Astari that was sent to Middle Earth, and Manway's like, I made him too powerful. We're not doing that again.
Maybe.
You know, like.
But also, I mean, it's also good that he like is a little cuckoo because yeah, he was super powerful. Again, I will never let go of this idea that Elrond was like, no, we're not talking to him. Glorfindel, be quiet.
He's just like, you talking about the cuckoo, the weird dude? No, we are not.
Want to know what happened? I want to know what happened that made Elrond like, no. And we're not talking about it.
Leja, you need to write a short story on what would happen if Tom Bombadil actually had the Ring of Power. You should write that, because I don't have the imagination that I don't think I'd be able to make it fit. It just would. No, it wouldn't make sense because he doesn't make sense. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Someone write this.
Tom Bombadil is meant to be enigmatic. He's the first and he would fall to Sauron and the ring, and night will come. Yeah, absolutely, he is, and that's just he's annoying as hell. Like, I'm sorry, I do not like those chapters. They just drag for me in the book. But it's super passive. Like, where is this coming from? And Goldenberry, I want to know who the hell she is. She's clearly not an elf, but she's also immortal. I want to know. Amazon fan fiction versus Alicia's fan fiction during Amazon's fan fiction. Ooh, don't tempt me.
Do it!
Maybe we'll see.
It doesn't have to be like a full novelization. It can just be like a little short story.
Yeah.
Like, you had to write those all the time in college, because I had to write short stories in college all the time. So
I did too. We'll see. Maybe over the fall. That would be fun. You know what I would? Okay, so what I would either like to do is either like write why Elrond does not like him. I would love to, because I could just like, there's a little bit of humor in there, and like the twins are also like, ooh, Dad's mad. Like, our fathers got annoyed there for a second. I really, that is something I would be more interested in writing, other than Tom getting the ring, because I think Elrond's right. I think Tom would just lose it. I don't know if Tom would do anything with it. So that would be so yeah, in any case, but we'll see. I will, maybe that'll help get my creative juices flowing.
So, Jacob by inside, where did I put that ring, Tom Bombadil?
Basically, that would be it.
That would be, you could write a whole short story of it's actually the whole time in his pocket, but he forgets and he goes on an adventure looking for the ring.
It's like me when I'm holding my phone, like, where is my phone?
The Adventures of Tom Bombadil and his search for the ring. It's perfect.
So we need a chapter on why Alicia's likes Elrond. No, we don't. We don't need that. So far, okay. So to get back to your question about my theory of the Blue Wizards, I feel like, and mine is super boring. Like, mine is like exceptionally boring about what I think happened to the Blue Wizards. I don't think that they were necessarily like corrupted or anything. Like, well, I mean, and obviously in here he says they kind of went off the rails a little bit. I think that they just got so enamored of Middle Earth that they kind of forgot why they were there, and that they went going off into these sections of Middle Earth that really no one knew anything about. And they were like, oh, we're the first ones here. We get to explore all this and everything. I think that they literally just kind of forgot what the ultimate mission was, and that they just kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, went native. It's like that they just kind of got sucked into the world that they were living in. So yeah, I don't know. I like your theory much better.
Well, that also makes sense because, like, in this chapter, it talks about the further away they get from, like, their mission, the more they forget about Valinor and their history. So that would make sense. Like, if they just kind of were exploring, they kind of did what Radagast did, and we're just like, I love this part of Middle Earth, and I'll just get lost in it.
Yeah, so that's my I don't know, that's mine. There's one thing that I thought there was on 4010. I have this highlighted and I kind of can't remember why.
Where's the highlight? Maybe I can.
It's when Elendil and Gil-galad were partners, but this was the last alliance of elves and men. If Sauron's final overthrow, the elves would not effectively concern this. Legolas would probably achieve least of the 9 walkers. Jeez, that was harsh.
Wow!
He just like full on admitted Legolas is useless. Like, damn. Okay.
So much for you Legolas lovers out there.
No kidding, right? Oh, you know what? You know what I thought? I remember now what it was. Galadriel, the greatest of the Eldar, surviving in Middle Earth, was potent mainly in wisdom and goodness, as a director or counselor in the struggle, unconquerable in resistance, especially in mind and spirit, and was incapable of punitive action. In her scale, she became like Manwë with regard to the greater total action. Manwë, however, even after the downfall of Numenor. So I thought that was fascinating. That like he literally says that Galadriel literally is like Manwë on Middle Earth. Like that just, again, it should show like why Sauron bypasses Lothlorien and goes and attacks Thranduil, because he's like, no, I'm good. I'm not attacking her. It's not happening.
Well, and also like it just granted like not trying to bring up the stupid people, but like that it just shows how people don't understand how powerful and how like in what ways she was powerful, because like some people, like uneducated people would say Manwë is weak because of his inaction. People are weak because of their inaction, when in actuality they take action at the appropriate times. That is when you combine power and wisdom.
Yep.
You can have power. Like Sauron is just power with a little bit of wisdom. But if you have like full wisdom, you not only have the power to do whatever you want, you know when to do what's needed. And that's where Galadriel's like actual power comes from, is she knows she's capable of doing whatever the heck she wants. But she knows better.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's why she passes the test of the One Ring. Like, her wisdom outweighed her desire for power and control. But again, she had to get to that point. Like, if we go back to I can't even remember if it was this book or the Silmarillion, that like Tolkien said, like she was full of pride. Like she had to grow out of that. She had to learn her wisdom. And a lot of that, I think, came in Doriath when she was sitting, with Melian. She learned a lot of that wisdom there, and she saw what power does, and she had to witness Thingol's downfall. And why did that happen? Because of his pride, the Silmarillion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There is some text in the Valaquinta that indicates that the Anor lose power and identity when they do not follow the purpose for which Eero created them. Interesting.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, but the dwarves get the eagles sent to help them out 2 times, and Golfin doesn't get any help. He just gets his body taken away. Thanks, Manwë. This is true.
I mean, no one ever said Manwë is infallible.
I know. You think? He just like has this most evil person standing before him. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna release you. Go walk amongst the
elves and the little people. And,
yeah,
I mean, he just tried to take over the world, but yeah, no, it's in the past.
Yeah. The best terms are spontaneous and unplanned. I am sure Galadriel never had to be thus educated. She was wise enough already. Yeah, absolutely. But I think that, like, you know, her watching the kinslaying and her having to cross the ice, and I'm sure that was a humbling experience to realize that like she wanted to go to Middle Earth so bad and have her own domain to rule, and then to have all this crap happen to her. I'm sure that was like, okay, so this is what happens when you let ultimate power control your mind. And I think that's it's an interesting, of all the people in Middle Earth, she's the one that learned that, you know?
Right, because like I think that's one of the biggest lessons in all of Tolkien's work, is, and also in real life and the Bible in particular, is pride unchecked comes before fall. Like pride is the ultimate Achilles heel, because I am reading the Iliad right now. It's the ultimate like Achilles heel to people, is when they allowed their pride to get too big for them. Like But if like those same people can do amazing wonders and great things if their pride is in check. And I think like, you know, with Turin and Huron and you know, his whole family and a lot of the line of men, what ultimately brings Numenor down and all of that line is pride. They're like, I can do this. It's me. And then Galadriel is one of those stories that we see when like pride, like she is still like proud of her heritage and who she is and her history, but she also understands like she has that wisdom to go, but that ain't everything. That's not the end all be all.
And again, this gets back to Amazon is actually afraid of showing an actual strong woman because she is a strong woman. She doesn't need a sword. This is what they learned with Liv Tyler. This is what they learned with Otwyn. You don't have to put a sword in her hand to make her strong. And this is just, it's just sickening that they don't understand that. And that's, again, it's just like, not going to entertain this because I love Galadriel as who she is and not what she needs to be, of what the world thinks she needs to be. So yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the whole first chapter, I feel like we could go back and like chalk up the good whole half of this chapter or this book to be pride. The issue of so many of the Edain is pride. And the elves as well. I mean, the elves have it as well, absolutely. But you can see it a little more clearly in the line of men. But yeah, for sure, pride is what ultimately causes chaos. And you know, it's amazing that Galadriel sees that and resists it.
And that, like, it took her a long time, I imagine, to get to that point. And unfortunately, I think that's one of the sad things about like the race of men in Tolkien stories. Their life is so short and so brief that some lessons can really only be learned if you have a longer life and you're able to properly reflect. And so like it's kind of like Tolkien saying, well, here, like if we were able to properly learn lessons, like Galadriel is kind of that representation of how long it might take someone to properly learn.
Yeah.
Which is a long time.
Yeah. Maybe Valinor Junior High back in Galadriel's day was not as inclusive enough, so that's why Galadriel has elf pride. Maybe. Let's be honest, Hollywood has a hard time showcasing strong women, and then they fire them. Yeah, Gina is an excellent example of that. Absolutely. So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of like my final thoughts on the Astari chapter. Is that again, it's, you know, it's funny how he puts out a chapter that's about this specific thing, and then we get like this weird sidetrack that reveals so much more about like other characters, like with the cats, like out of the clear freaking blue that apparently spy on people and are slaves and all these things. And then we get like this. Oh yeah. And by the way, not that we haven't established this kind of already, but Galadriel's basically the female version of Manwë on Middle Earth. Just by the by. Like I would have appreciated that information like 5 chapters ago.
I know, right? Like there was a part like that talked about Galadriel. Like, couldn't we have gotten it then? Like, or was this an afterthought, Tolkien? Like, was this just like I'm just writing my thing. Oh, by the way, Galadriel's Manwë on Middle Earth.
Yeah, and on we go. So, but I mean, I guess that shouldn't be surprising, especially after the chapter on Rohan and Gondor, when she moved, what was it, 8,000 horsemen, the span in a white mist, the length of time it would have taken them like a week to ride in a couple hours.
Like, you could have just made a side note, like, then, like, at, like, you know, oh, by the way, this is Galadriel, blah, blah, blah. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I feel like in the middle of Tolkien grading papers, he has these moments of, and then writes it down, and then he goes back to grading the
Can you imagine? I'm sorry, and I agree with this, because he wrote the intro to The Hobbit on the back of grading papers. How many students got back, priceless... Like, I bet you there were notes on the back of some of their term papers, and they threw them away.
Oh, that's heartbreaking to think about.
Isn't it? Yep. They had something priceless in their hands, and I bet you they didn't even keep them. So anyways, now that we're...
Well, no, like, if it was me, because I'm a freaking hoarder, I have all of my notebooks of all of my college notes because I'm a freaking hoarder. I'm never going to look at any of that. But I'm like... I spent years of my life. I'm going to keep hold of this.
You know, it's funny. Since I wrote everything digitally, I have them all backed up on a thumb drive, but I've tossed a lot of the physical copies just simply because it is space. But yeah, I've kept all of mine as well. I have all my term papers. I have, I think, 5 different copies of my thesis, my master's thesis, and my honors thesis. So yeah, no, I've kept everything too, but a good majority of it's all digital because I'm just like, I can't with all this paper. So I've gotten rid of a lot of it. Sorry. So do we want to move on now officially to the Palantiri chapter? Unless there's anything else you wanted to say about the Starry?
I think we've kind of gone through, like, I think I wanted to primarily just get like some theories on what happened, like what you thought happened to the Blue Wizards, because that's always something that fascinates me whenever we talk about the Wizards, is because there's so many things that are unknown. Like, the world is your oyster, like figure out whatever the heck you want to, and as long as it's within canon, like, I'm sure Tolkien probably wouldn't mind talking about the Blue Wizards.
Yeah. Hold on. St. Joseph, are you talking about the Hobbit game where you like collected diamonds and stuff? Like that was your currency? I played a Hobbit game and I'm still salty that I probably will never be able to play it again. It was so good. I've talked about it.
Do you remember what it is?
Yeah, hold on.
Do you remember what it's called? Because there you can probably find an emulator and play it now. Because like there are games that were on like the Sega Genesis that people can play now.
You're speaking Latin to me. I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. I know it was a PS2 game, I believe. But
yeah,
we have
so what an emulator does.
It's not reverse compatible because I have a PS4.
Right. But they're like on your computer, you can download what's called an emulator, and it emulates like a PS2, a Sega Genesis, things like old things, and you can play old games because of it.
Oh, okay. So is this what you're talking about? Because this was one of the best games I ever played. But the thing is, I never finished it. It would crash every single time at the Necromancer because my computer was old, and I still have the disc. Like I still have the desktop version. I never had the PlayStation version because we never.
So Johnny said he'll help you out. He knows what I'm talking about. You'll be able to play that game again. I can promise you.
Okay, thank you, Johnny. So yeah, so this, if anyone ever like needs, if you can't, like, again, I'm so not well versed in this world. I loved this game so much. It was so much fun.
You'll be able to stream it too.
Yeah, I had that game. I had it for GC. I don't know what GC means, but that's awesome, Big Raj, because yeah, it was good. No, it's not. It's the C64 games crashed all the time. Oh, okay. Okay, your type. I was like, what? Okay, no worries. I'm more or less GameCube. I don't know what a GameCube is. I'm saying I'm not a game. I mean that very literally. It's okay. Hi, dear. Nintendo GameCube. I still don't know what that is.
Johnny, you gotta help me. I'm trying.
We had an Xbox, I think.
So Johnny is like the Nintendo king, so he will educate you on that.
Unfriended. Fine. No, I unfriended you first for your opinions about the prequels, sir.
I love it. It's okay, Johnny. It's okay.
Like, again, guys, there's a reason I have 10 bookshelves. I think I had
A2 is also giving you crap right now.
I know. I understand this. GameCube. No, I don't. I played on a Wii. Does that count for anything?
It's okay.
I know what a GameCube is. Never had one because PS2 was better. Okay.
Okay, you're in Johnny 64 server, so you will get educated. Everyone who's in Johnny 64 server, tag Elijah and show her what a GameCube is.
Fine. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I am not calling Johnny this. This is not happening. He's not my intend daddy. Nope. Not calling Jade.
He's not old enough, okay?
Yeah, we're the exact same age. If you like old retro, when you loaded C64 Hobbit game, it was like an ancient. Cool. I don't know what any of that means, like at all. The GameCube was an era before. Well, okay, that explains it then. Doesn't know what a GameCube is. Okay, my God, sorry.
Well, so did you, like, I'm gonna go even further back. Do you know what a Nintendo 64 is with the weird controller?
No, not a clue. You know, you want to say it. I am not calling you that.
It's you know what? It's okay. You're not a gamer. You're not a gamer, but you have a lot of gamer.
Line.
I wasn't gonna go that far.
Shows up in my chat and starts calling me an uncultured swine. That's funny. No, I'm good. Damn, I'm older than I look. What, Johnny? Be careful, chat. Alicia will bust out an old Irish Lester reference, and the chat will be lost ones, and she will say, yes, I will school all your rear ends on Irish history. Don't watch me do it.
It's okay, but you know what? It's a whole new world.
It is. It's a whole new world. I can hopefully at one point fumble my way through on Twitch.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll play. You know what? We can play Snake. We can play Pong.
I had an Xbox. I think. Well, let me finish my sentence. You've interrupted me like 5 times. I think I had an Xbox. My dad got it for free. I don't know where. I'm pretty sure it was an Xbox. Was an Xbox 360 a thing, or am I making that up? I don't know. Okay, I think it was an Xbox 360, and that's where I played Lego Batman and Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix on. That's literally the only 2 games I ever played on that. But no, I have no idea what a Nintendo 64 is. My family was just not a gaming family. That's it.
Well, I will let you know that's where Johnny 64 got his name.
No, I know that because I did ask him about it. He did tell me that. Okay. So I get that. I'm just like, cool. I don't, if you've ever heard the story of where Troubled Green came from, like he is into gaming and I'm into Irish history. Like the name A Troubled Green, where is it? Over here, has a very specific reference in Irish history and a very specific Irish rebel song. So like my name is not just like a random conglomeration of letters put together. It's very specific. And so, no, I know his is the 64, but I don't even know what they look like, to be honest with you.
It's okay. Just know that your Discord and Johnny64 Discord is probably about to be flooded with images of all of these things.
It's fine. I don't care. It's why, you know what? I will make a game. How about this? No, I have a gaming channel. You guys want to put all that in there? Please go have fun. I will look at it at some point. It's all good, Alasia. While you were gaining knowledge from books, I was collecting bananas in Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I remember people talking about that, but I just have no idea what it was. Again,
and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's so okay.
We all have our things. Yeah, we all have our thing, and mine were books.
I was that weird hype. Like I feel like in school I was the unicorn. Like I was called a unicorn several times because I love gaming, but I also really love books. So like I love history and I love science and love mathematics, but I also like to play Donkey Kong and collect bananas.
That's funny. So if I Google A Troubled Green, can I learn something about Irish history? No. No. If you want to know, if you want to understand where the name came from, the very short version, if you go Google a song called Four Green Fields, it's about the 4 provinces of Ireland. The 4th province, which is Ulster, went through the troubles of Northern Ireland. So A Troubled Green, it's a reference to that song, which is sung from the perspective of Kathleen the Houlihan and the troubles of Northern Ireland. So that's where over here. That's where this came from.
Well, actually, I completely forgot. There was a friend of mine who they're not quote unquote a professor at like the local university that I live in between like 3 universities.
Yeah,
I don't know how this happened. And I was like, yeah, blah blah, and they're like, yeah, I went to Ireland, and I like a little bit of like they're like a little bit of medieval Irish and English history. I was like, yeah, I've got a friend named Troubled Green, and they're like, oh, I need to meet them. I was like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
They got it immediately?
They got it immediately.
No
I was
way.
like, I don't what? Yeah.
That
I haven't
is
talked to him. I
weird.
haven't talked to him a while because they've been busy. But yeah,
Yeah.
I meant to tell you about like my friend who was like, yeah, they're called a troubled green, and they're like, I need to know this person.
Holy crap, that's interesting. That's the first time that's ever happened. I have to explain it to everyone. They're like, what the hell does a troubled, and people, okay, so in chats, I have had people in big chats too ask me what a non-troubled green looks like, and I'm like, a United Ireland, and they get so confused. They're like, what? I'll just throw that at them, and I'm like, have fun working that out. And of course, Brexit didn't help that happen. So
I completely forgot to tell you. It's been like weeks and weeks ago now, but like I just thought that was really cool that like the particular area I live in, it's a lot of just random stuff. I'm just gonna say like it's cool like that. Which we kind of got off of on a very big sidetrack. Thank you.
You're fine.
Grade A.
And then we fought the British and we all died, and that's okay because we're singing. Yeah, that's pretty much the epitome of every Irish rebel song out there. Can't be friends anymore, Alasia. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Like, so you're a grade A. Yes, Mando is a grade A nerd.
I don't know, man.
I used to know the basics of it. If you want to know what hello is, I can say hello. I can tell you like the general greeting in Ireland. I used to know a lot more, and I could to give you like what I had for breakfast. You know, like those general things. There's a class up in Montana in Butte, and it's a 2-week intensive program. The guy is from Cork. He's from down south, so I learned the Munster accent. I learned the Munster way of pronouncing things. So I can recognize words here and there when I hear it, but I can't speak it, unfortunately. How? Okay. That means at least I don't have to turn green today. No, you don't. How do you say hello? Okay, so hello is dia gwit, which is God be with you. Mm-hmm. And then the return to that is dia asmir de gwit, which is God and Mary be with you.
See, my little redneck brain just kind of died a little bit. It's just like, I can learn some Greek and do some Greek, but that I was just like,
yeah. And you know what's funny? Irish is very close to Spanish, so if you understand Spanish,
okay.
I can't
maybe
speak.
Now. Like, okay, okay.
Yeah. So dia gwit is hello. That's how you say hello. And you can keep going. Like the next saint you would add would be Patrick, which I cannot ever say correctly. And I believe the next one you would add would be Saint Bridget, but that is like old school. Like you just don't do that anymore. If the general hello in especially if you're on one of the Gaeltachts, which is the Irish speaking area, it's just dia gwit and dia asmir de gwit. So that's how you say hello in Irish.
I forget. Have I ever told you like my maiden name? I feel like I've told you what my maiden name. Like.
Yes, you have. Yeah, you have. Yeah.
So I've got the Irish in me.
Alan is just super British, and I'm just not even gonna. And like like it's further back I go, it's like Goodwin. I'm like, yeah, I'm British. I think I've got any Irish in me, which is just funny. So in any case, my family is from Tipperary. Cool, that's awesome, Rosie. What is hot sauce in Irish? Your guess is as good as mine. Go Google it. So anyways, okay, man, massive sidetrack. So okay, I don't know what a Nintendo 64 is. Not a clue. I've never even seen one. I'm very the level to which I am not a gamer, and this is why I'm like even amused myself. Why I'm even bothering to get into Twitch is because I am like the most uneducated person when it comes to this whole world. So I feel like people are going to come to my streams just because it's funny to watch me fumble around because I'm like, I'm no clue what I'm doing.
Well, you've been to my streams. Most of the time, people just want to try and scare me in my streams because they like my reactions because I have a heart attack. Like that, I feel like that's the most entertainment you get. Like it's just trying to give me a heart attack, which I still am a little salty about.
You can take those sound alerts off, you know.
I know, but then I wouldn't get as many people coming to my channel.
This is true. She certainly is not tamed. No, I'm not. Not tamed at all. Scare you? I gotta try that sometimes. Oh, see, you're opening up the door.
I know.
So, in any case, good heavens above, man, we lost. Sidetrack. So, I'm sorry, everyone, for breaking. Don't worry, chat. I'll change her Nintendo 64. Fine. Oh, Cajun, I think that's a given. I will absolutely be pulling a raidie in Fortnite. No, that will most definitely happen.
So now we can talk about weird orbs that see things.
Yes, let's go back to weird orbs that see things.
I mean, it's not like one topic is weirder than the next in actuality. Like, they're both,
This is true.
Like, we're literally just talking about crazy orbs that you can see
big
things.
Rocks. They're essentially big rocks that have been polished. That's what they are. So I mean, like, I don't know. My biggest takeaway from this chapter was that Denethor. Oh, hey, Zax. How are you?
Hello.
Extra suicidal. Screw both of you guys. What was I saying? Oh, that Denethor. I just thought it was fascinating that Denethor literally has a stronger constitution than Saruman does. I was like, it gives me like a whole other idea of who he is.
Right, and like the point when Denethor actually started falling was when his wife died. Like that makes sense. Like tragedy, and like that's how like certain things kind of leak in, is like you're kind of playing with something you shouldn't be, but then something bad happens. That thing that you shouldn't have been messing with becomes more important because that's what you were like. That's kind of a comfort. It's a comfort thing.
Yeah, for sure. Hold on. Having a Twitch channel is just part of having a YouTube channel these days. It's another opportunity for people to spend time with you online, and interaction is the entertainment, for sure. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. I meant the Rady thing. Y'all need to chill. No, we know. Denethor also had a lawful. Did you leave out half your sentence? I don't know what you mean. Oh, hi, Jared. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that.
I know what he was talking about. A lawful right to use the Palantiri.
Oh,
he was
that's
the
right.
lawful heir to be able to use it. I think that's
right. And he had the will to do it. Like, if all the descendants of Numenor, like, he was of the line. That's right. I totally forgot about that. Jennifer also had a lawful right to use the Palantiri. Yes, absolutely. And only the way I understood it, only Boromir would have been able to use it. I don't even think Faramir could have. Right? I mean, I don't know. It just said it's like his next heir should have been the one to use it.
Yes, and because that's how the Palantiri worked is by right the kings of Gondor and Arnor were first to be able to use it, but then their authority got passed to the stewards, and so the stewards were able to use the Palantiri even though they didn't really use it that often. Gotta walk the dog. Stay on topic.
Thank you, Cajun. We appreciate the lurk. Have a good walk with your dog.
We're ladies. When do we ever stay on topic for more than 10 minutes?
Oh, that doesn't happen. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, talking about like Denethor, like the descendants of those like who like the descendants of Gondor and Arnor, or quote unquote the descendants, like, and I'm not referring to like the bloodline descendants, I'm referring to an authority. The descendants of the kings were the stewards. So by right of that authority they were allowed to use the Palantiri, but they didn't because they weren't really known a lot. Like the lore wasn't really known to the stewards. Besides, like, Denethor was kind of like an oddball as far as the stewards of Gondor and the Palantiri.
Thank you so much, Rosie. Have a lovely rest of your day, lady. We always love seeing you here. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And yeah, no, I look forward to seeing whatever other chaos you spread either in my Discord or on Twitter, my dear. Aragorn was able to use the Orthanc Stone from Sauron and Saruman's will because he was the king. Yeah. That's what they said in here. So yeah, I thought it is interesting that Denethor, he was kind of the oddball when it comes to the stewards of Gondor. And I found it fascinating that his wife's name was Finduilas, and I'm like, women with this name are cursed.
Yeah.
Hi, ladies. Just woke up. How's it going? It's good. I just got roasted for a good 20 minutes about not knowing what a GameCube and the Nintendo 64 are. So yeah, it's great. We've been having such a good time this morning. So, yeah, I felt sorry for his wife, and because I thought it was interesting, and it's. I thought that there was like, again, I know that we know that Tolkien hates, what am I trying to spit out? Allegory. We know that he hates that, but it's interesting that so Sauron looked into the stone and craved power. Denethor looked into the stone and perceived that he saw Sauron's ultimate
success. His ultimate success
and fell into despair. And it's interesting. Okay, I feel less alone. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Thank you very much. That he came to despair, which I don't know. I think that's an interesting take almost on Christianity. It's like that you look at things and you do fall into despair because even Galadriel talked about the long defeat, which obviously I won't get into theological things, but if you know. But it's interesting that Denethor looked into the Palantir and lost hope. He let that overcome him, and I think that I don't know how I'm saying this very poorly and I'm rambling, but it's just interesting that to have that knowledge and rather than being like, oh hell no, Denethor is he just gave up. You know what I mean?
Which is strange because he in the story it talked about how he had a very strong will, but at the same time for him to just give up like that, it's a very dichotomy. It's a dichotomy where he has strong will in this instance, but in this instance it just kind of he crumbled.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Prior to Denethor, after Minas Ithil fell and they suspected Sauron had the Ithil stone, no one used the Palantiri except for Saruman. Yeah.
Because of that, they were like, well, we believe Sauron has one of the Palantiri, and if that's the case, it means the rest of them are probably compromised. Not safe.
Yeah. It's literally a national security threat at that point. So yeah, it's just interesting to see these two very strong-willed men, and one craves it and one falls into despair, and then Aragorn looks into it and he's like, you will not win. This is where we draw the line. You may win. Actually you may kill us all and then this may be the end. But Aragorn has the fortitude to so it's just interesting, those three men who look into the Palantir and then also Pippin's childlike innocence that Gandalf says it's a scar, but he will heal from it. It's fascinating to see how they affect different people. And I mean, ultimately Christopher says that they weren't intended for ill. They weren't made to be these dark things, that they were corrupted themselves by Sauron. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting hold on. Denethor is a case study in pride and despite and dispat when he realizes he cannot. Thank you. His strong will and pride is the one and the same. Absolutely. If you only knew the perils of cat killer driver. That's how people really are. Some instances they are stronger than you can imagine. In other instances they are weak, for sure. Exactly. Denethor is a cautionary tale for men who simply follow the impulse of their heart. He's the worst of extremes of our shortcomings. Interesting. Like that. What book is this? We are in the last two chapters of the Unfinished Tales.
I would also his story kind of, and for those of you who are not Christian, this is just a quick Bible story. There's a tale of Elisha or Elijah. I always get them confused. I think it's Elisha, where in one moment he takes on all of the different takes on all of the different prophets of Baal in front of the king and queen, and he's super he conquers them. He's on a high hill. He does what he's supposed to do, and then as soon as the queen is I'm gonna kill you, he runs and says, oh God, I'm gonna die and I can't believe this, and he has a pity party. And so I can see I imagine that story probably had a part to play. I don't know, it's not exact, of course, but like it's just very reminiscent of that story where someone who was so powerful and so good and did so many mighty things in one, like in a split second, it seems like, can just go, woe is me, I am nothing but a worm and I can't do this, please just let me die.
Yeah. Real quickly, I have a $3 donation from Big Raj. It says nothing. Thank you so much, Big Raj. I really appreciate that. Let me get you. I will do this one.
This task was appointed to you, Frodo of the Shire. If you do not find a way, no one will.
I know. I wish I could have kept going with that scene, but the music took over, so I had to cut it because I love how she yanks him up. I just, oh god,
like get up here.
Exactly. Oh, she's so like, oh, I don't know. For some odd reason, that scene has always stuck out in my mind of her. I just adore that scene. So it's very much when Arwen comes to rescue Frodo. Anyways, I'm sorry. Whoa, what did you say? I wanted to bounce off what you had said, but now I can't remember what you said.
I was talking about the Bible story of Elijah.
Yeah. Oh, Dawn said that was Elijah, not Elisha.
Elijah. Thank you. I have read the story like so many times and still to this day because they're right after each other. I think Elisha and then Elijah comes after. I think. Yeah. Confused again.
I read the Unfinished Tales. The tragedy is they never knew who they were. That's just deep. And you know that today's writers are not fit to tie his sandals. You mean Tolkien's? Absolutely. No, they're not. They're absolutely not. And you know what I thought was kind of interesting in this chapter is that we get a lot more of Sauron. Yes, everyone confuses them, and I get called both because of my name. I've been called Elisha and Elijah. I respond better to Elijah because it's a little closer. The SH sound is not in my name at all. It's a hard J. That the White Council like didn't admonish Sauron for basically like giving him the double barrel and going to Orthanc and hiding. Like I thought that was kind of interesting that like the Elrond and Galadriel and Gandalf were just like, big deal. Like that should have raised some concern.
Yeah, I think this also is a quote unquote cautionary tale of having too much trust in someone. Because like there are so many red flags. Like as an outsider looking in, we see those red flags. But like when like Gandalf trusted Saruman, they came in together. They were supposed to be on the same journey, doing the same thing. And I think on some level, Gandalf saw himself in Saruman, and if Saruman can fall, I can fall. I think that maybe that might have played some part, and I think that I don't know, if that was Galadriel and Elrond. I don't feel like they had the same kind of relationship that Gandalf had with Saruman.
Yeah, but
like I think their perspective was, this was a direct messenger from Manwë. I don't think they would fall this like in the same way. I think that's maybe clouded their judgment a little bit.
Sure.
Except for Galadriel. I think Galadriel knew the whole time, but she's like, these two dum-dums don't know anything, so I'm just going to keep playing along.
Galadriel knows everything.
Everything.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Absolutely. And that's an interesting take to have. So yeah, I don't know. Was there anything else? What's interesting, and this goes back, and I think that a lot of people miss this. People I've had fights with, like that dude who was like, Galadriel's not older than the sun. Whatever. I wish I'd highlighted it, and I apologize I did not. I feel like it's kind of towards the end of this book, and it might have been in a note. You'd have to read it. I'm sure if I describe it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's Tolkien writing within the history of Middle Earth, and I don't know if that makes sense. But Tolkien knows what happens, right? But he deliberately writes mistakes into the mythos to make the mythos and the history more believable, because that's what happens in history. We get things sideways and things get omitted and things get lost with the retelling, especially when oral history traditions, things get lost every single time that is retold. Like we don't probably have the actual version of Beowulf. We have a version of it that was handed down for how many centuries. Same with the Iliad and the Odyssey. Like, probably the very first telling of those stories were quite different than what we have.
Well, also because Socrates never wrote anything down, and so his student Plato had to like try and remember all of the stories that he wrote.
Exactly. So it's interesting. Tolkien literally takes that and like writes it into the story. So there are deliberate inconsistencies with some of the things. And there was a section in here where Christopher talked about like, he's like, this is where my father was doing that. He wanted it to be wrong. He wanted it to be inconsistent, because that's what happens when things are passed down through the ages. So I thought that was like really fascinating, that's where we get another instance of this, that like, there are, we get these things of like throughout, especially Jackson's trilogy, that only the wise know, that only Galadriel knows, or only, this, that, and the other person knows. So I thought that was really fascinating, that when it comes to the Palantiri, Tolkien was being deliberately inconsistent with how they even came to be and what happened to them.
Right. Yeah. And of course, like Zax makes a good point that unfortunately is going to be used against Tolkien, and that already is being used against Tolkien. Which, like, I think it really just comes down to ignorance. It comes down to ignorance. Like, if you don't, like, of course they keep boasting that they know the lore, that they know all of these things. Like, they all of these Tolkien experts and these Tolkien people. I think what has happened is, I'm trying to think of a better term, but basically you've been looking at the tree so long you forgot the forest. Like, I think that, like, I don't doubt that these people most likely probably know the lore better than I do, better than we do, and probably did really deep dive in. But I think what's happened is they've gotten hold of just one idea, and they forgot all of the things that surround that particular idea. Like with Tolkien, like, things are supposed to be contradicted and supposed to be different. Yes, Tolkien wanted everything to be nice, neat, and perfect, but at the same time, this is supposed to be a world that's lived in. It's supposed to be a world like that people who are interested in history, like Elijah, and I would say I wouldn't consider myself a historian, but like, I love history. People like us will go into that deeper meaning and understand, like, this feels lived in. This feels like a textbook that I read about the Roman Empire. This feels like a textbook that you read about Irish history. Like, it feels like a real place that you can go into, learn and study about. Like, there's a reason you could take a class on Tolkien in college.
For sure.
it's supposed, but also at the same time, because he based his world on like the real living world, people have used different versions of a story to pervert it, or to do different, like to make it say something. Like, even in medieval times, they would retell certain stories to benefit the king, to benefit whoever was in power. And unfortunately, that's what's happening right here. Like, we're seeing it before our eyes. Is there's an agenda, and they're using a story that's widely known to push that agenda. This is not anything that's new. This has been happening for years. Like, King Henry VIII had ballads that was saying how great and how grand he was when he killed like his wives. Like, this is just, and during because, like I said, I'm rereading the Iliad and the Odyssey right now. Like, Plato saw his mentor die because Socrates didn't back the ruling power, the ruling class, and so when they came to power, they killed him because he wasn't saying what they wanted him to say. It's just the same thing over and over again, and we're just seeing it in a very small microcosm of Tolkien.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I got on another tangent.
No, you're good. Intent matters. Yeah. No, they did. It does. And we know what their intent is. I'm going to get this book. Awesome, Christine. I'm happy to hear that. The gimmick Tolkien set up was that in the 9th century, a man named Elfwin from Britain was able to follow the straight road to Tor Essera, learned the lore from elves, and Tolkien eventually found it. I did not know that. That is fascinating. Oh, that's cool. And again, that just shows you how much he cared. So, oh boy, howdy, that was my collarbone.
Oh, sounds
sorry.
like my bones.
Yeah. the extent to which my knees crack. Think carefully before you put your child in dance, because it does some stuff.
Or in softball or soccer or any kind of drama where you constantly beat your knees against a wooden floor. That's not advisable.
Or volleyball. Yeah.
Or volleyball.
Yeah.
Or any sport or thing that is hard on your knees, like running cross country. Is take care of your knees, people, because your knees will give out on you. Like, about to be 30 this year, and my doctor said that I'm probably going to need a double knee replacement in the next 10 years. Like, my knees feel like I'm 80, but I'm not.
So anyways, yeah, I don't know. I think that kind of concludes this chapter. It was interesting. Gave us a lot in a very short amount of time. This is such a small chapter. But yeah, no, this was great. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have any closing thoughts on it, really. It was interesting. I'm so happy we read this. I'm glad I finally read it. Loved parts of it. Other parts were frustrating and boring. But yeah.
Also made me realize how much marriage counseling is a very good thing.
It's a very good thing. Very good thing. So anyways, so okay, so again, this is my last run on Literary Soul Sisters. I might be a guest on in the future, but Mando, I understand. Do you want to talk about kind of where you see it going, or do you want to hold on to that for the moment? Like,
I'll do, because all of these are kind of ideas in my head for the direction. The future possible co-host has given me the reins to just kind of call it whatever I want to call it. And I think, unless somebody says it sounds stupid, I'm going to just shorten the name to Literary Souls, because there are going to be other people that are not sisters unless they identify that way, which is weird. But yeah, my friend Sarah, smile for a while. We will miss you. But you are always welcome to come back and be on the show. But I will be shortening the name to Literary Souls, because the idea is, right now, yes, we are talking about Tolkien. We are going to still do the 13 histories of Middle Earth. Hopefully we'll get done before Amazon's Rings of Power. I highly doubt that, because I like to talk too much, and the new co-host will also like to talk too much. Gosh dang it. And so once we get done with the 13 histories of Middle Earth, we are going to go into a C.S. Lewis time. I don't know what to call it, but we're going to just kind of dive into C.S. Lewis, because that's where my wheelhouse is. And the new co-host doesn't really know a lot about C.S. Lewis, so they're going to be learning all about him, and I am so excited and so thrilled for that. But even after that, the reason keeping the name Literary Souls is because there are people like Alaja and I and others who like literature. And there are so many people. I had a conversation just yesterday with Rodo about Plato's Republic, which right after I get done reading the Iliad and the Odyssey, I'm going to start reading Plato's Republic, because our founding fathers in the United States got a lot of their ideas about a republic and forms of government from Plato's Republic. Now, a lot of ideas in his Republic are very bad, like eugenics, like very, very bad.
Yeah.
But you can get a lot of good stuff from that. But the point I'm trying to make is, I want to talk about literature, and there are other podcasts out there that are going to be doing. There is a bot in the chat. Let me try and
we have a bot. I'm so honored. Thank you, Johnny.
I know. But there is another podcast that I'm not going to try and do everything exactly the way that they do, but it's going to be very similar. It's called Young Heretics. Spencer Clavin. It's a great podcast. You guys should listen to it. If you love history and Western, his big thing is his thing is the Western Civ class that you never got in high school and college. My thing is, I just want to go over works of literature and things that have impacted not only the West, but other portions of the world. Like, I'm not very familiar with a lot of Eastern texts or cultures, or a lot of Indian texts and cultures, but like, that's something I want to discuss. I want this to be about literature.
I don't know
what was it? Oh,
I know. I know. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment very much. Thank you very much. So,
but that it's, unless somebody says Literary Souls is taken, which I looked it up. There is a Literary Souls bookstore somewhere in Indiana. That's the only thing I know of. So
yeah,
that's probably what we'll shorten it to.
That sounds fantastic. I think, and that just like gives you so much room to like cover anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Yeah, that's kind of my, I guess, what I would like for the episode, or for the show, to kind of be more about, is just works of literature, because even I am astonished by the level that people are ignorant, and not saying ignorant in a bad way, because ignorant is just a neutral term, but people are ignorant about a lot of things that they take for granted. Like, if you live in the West in particular, you are living upon the shoulders of great heroes: Martin Luther, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and so many. Those are just to name just some basic names that you might, like, would ring a bell if you heard them. I would love to go in a lot of Hemingway's work, because I haven't dived into a lot of his work. Yeah.
There you go. I knew we'd get there. So
yeah,
no, that's great. Yeah, no, and I'm so excited for you. And yeah, I was hoping that you would just take this and run with it. That's fantastic. And I hope to, again, the reason I'm stepping away is just, I feel like my life is going in a little bit of a different direction, and I needed time to kind of work out stuff and everything. But I hope to, I also would like to, get back to books, and I'm going to try and be more intentional about book reviews on my channel, because I feel like there's just so much from the 80s that people don't even are aware of that exist. I would love to find more stuff from the 80s, like Conan. I would like to, give Conan a try. I've got one of his books, but there's just a lot of fantasy, like Tamara Pierce, for example, that so few people know about, and I would love to start highlighting her work and stuff. So that's my deal. It's just like the fantasy, what's out there right now is just so freaking bad. I would like to dive back into, like, Mary Stuart's, like, I feel like so few people know who Mary Stuart is and her Merlin saga, and that there's such a unique retelling of King Arthur, and it's all from Merlin's perspective, which is not the most normal thing in the whole wide world. So, I hope to start doing book streams myself, but it will be later down the line, kind of when I can figure out kind of where life's going and all that stuff. But I do want to be more intentional about making content on my channel. I'm, again, blown away by y'all's support of my video that I dropped about that Evie article. I intend to start doing that a lot more. And again, I want to have a once a month girl stream where I bring women on who are willing to have hard, deep conversations about certain topics, because I just feel like so few people are doing that. And there are some shows on YouTube that I will not name that I'm pretty disgusted with about their content, and I'd like to kind of be an antithesis to that. So in any case, I wish you all the best. I'm so excited for you. I think you're going to make this an incredible show. And yeah, I can't wait to see where you go with it. So I look forward to lurking and being in the chat on those streams. So in any case, guys, thank you all so much for all the support. Again, I will be on Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central, my first all-girl stream. I'll be announcing the guests on that soon. And this will be a one-time deal that it's at 6 p.m. Central. From the next following Monday, it will be at a different time. And yeah, so I look forward to things to come and where we're all going. And I think it's going to be a lot of really great things. Hold on. I learned more from the literature I chose to read than my required reading, but I also was homeschooled and loved reading and was more exposed to literature than most young adults were in college. Absolutely. I went to a private Christian school, so I was homeschooled for 3 years, and then I went to a private Christian school. And even though I read a lot of great stuff, I read Beowulf, and I read a lot of great stuff there. My mom has just always encouraged me to read, and so I read Jane Eyre of my own volition at 13, and that's why I'm so screwed up. I think like when it comes to like morality and like how young women should conduct themselves, I'm like, no, I will be Jane. So, and I do not have the problem with Edward Rochester that all the other feminists do. I don't think he's a bad man in any way, shape, or form. But that's just me. So, anyways, so yeah, guys, please, all of you, next Saturday, show up and support Mando. I'm so happy for her. Let's make this show really great for her. And I want to say thank you for all of your support. It's been an absolute blessing, and I learned a lot. So let me see. Sadly, I only got into reading after high school, and I wasn't forced to read. Yeah, a lot of people do. That's not what I wanted. Go away. You are both spectacular. Look forward to the content you'll be producing. Thank you so much. I ran out of Shakespeare and Mark Twain to read by the time I was in high school. Good for you. I didn't get into either of those people.
And she's one of my like good friends, and so like I'm just gonna give you an insight. Every Saturday, like after the stream, she messages me like, I actually have this point. I disagreed with you on this thing. I'm just like, which she hopefully she'll be coming down to visit me from Minnesota, Don Channel, sometime in September, and we're hoping that maybe I can get her on one of my streams or something. But
That'd
she
be
is
awesome.
also like you, a troubled green. She does not game. She has like a Switch Lite, so I don't know about the gaming streams. So we might see like I hope to get her on either Literary Souls or one of my gaming streams, or we might go for a hike, and I will do my best to not show her face on camera unless she does not want me to. But yeah, she'll be here.
That's awesome. Great discussion, great chat. It's sad you won't be here anymore, but I look forward to where you're going with your content and where Mando goes with the show. Thank you so much. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to sign off. We have people coming over that I have to meet here in 30 minutes, so I gotta scoot and go have some lunch. So thank you all again so much. I will see you, hopefully some of you on Monday evening. And yeah, just keep an eye on our social media. And I think that I pray that great big things are in store for both of us. So we'll see you guys later next time. Bye.